Hello everyone, this is Jotto, and welcome to the Managrind tournament recap. This week's show is a little bit shorter. Why? Because I have 4 decks. Why do I have 4 decks? Because the EU servers didn't work, so the EU tournament was cancelled. So I have 4 decks, all from NA. So, towards the end, just to fill in some time, I'm going to be talking about this weekend's weekly show. Talking a bit about what's happening on there and various little things that are happening on the weekly show and blah blah blah. So, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? Top 4, first place, Muffinsssss. Second place, Twisted. Third/4th, we have Nimrod and Galleon. Now, Muffins came first with the Frozen Giant deck. Now, I don't think anyone's surprised by this. Frozen Giants is a very powerful deck. It's been around for a couple of weeks now, and so what I'm going to talk about is the variations. Now, the interesting things about this particular one is it's not playing Flame Strike. It doesn't need Flame Strike. It's playing more minions, things like Kirin Tormage for the secrets, Azure Drake cantrips a little bit more, Acolyte of Pain is an actual draw engine if you keep freezing them, things like that, along with all the giants and Alexstrasza. It gives him a bit of a win condition. Although he is still playing the double Pyroblast, double Fireball, double Frostbolt. It's pretty much standard in mage decks. But this is a bit more of a minion heavy Frozen Giant deck. It's a bit of an interesting variation. Now, by comparison, we have a more traditional Frozen Giant deck from Twisted, playing the Flame Strikes and the Arcane Intellects and less minions, not playing Azure Drakes or anything, just playing Giants, Cantrip, Alexstrasza. Minions, that's all you need for the minions. Rest are control spells and burn spells. It's a very, very powerful deck. Kind of difficult to stop, gets rolling really quickly. It's kind of like a combo control deck half the time. But expect to see more of this one. Came first and second. Now onto the new decks. Shaman Midrange. We have not seen Shaman Midrange in a long time. So basically what it does is it uses early control spells such as Feral Spirits, which is a bit defensive, Lightning, Stormfork Lightning, Lightning Bolt, and the Rockbiter weapons and Stormforge axes to control the board as much as possible. It also uses a few early drops like Blood Mage, Thalnos, Unbound, Elemental, Fairy Dragon, Defender of Argus, Harvest Golem, but the main power of the deck, the main punch, is in the mid to late game. With Ragnaros, Sylvanas, Earth Elemental, Fire Elemental, these are really big hitters, even Azure Drake, but those are really powerful minions that impact the board massively when you play them. Especially something like Earth Elemental, there's not much hard removal around at the moment. People playing a little bit more of it, but Earth Elemental is super potent. Dodges a lot of removal. You have to hex it or polymorph it or deadly shot it or assassinate. You can't really burn it down, it's got too much health. Same goes for Ragnaros, and Sylvanas is powerful as ever. It's a very interesting deck, we haven't seen it in a long time. Now, onto a deck which we have seen a lot. Rogue Cantrip. Now this is a slightly more budget version of Rogue Cantrip, not by much. It's not that budget. Has a lot of rares in it. Sylvanas makes the appearance as usual, but it's slightly more budget. Doesn't need the Blood Mage Thalnos like a lot of people have been playing. But anyway, so Cantrip Rogue is a deck that plays a lot of draw power minions and in some cases spells that actually draw into your deck and keep your hand full and cycle through your deck to get to the cards you need. And it uses buff minions to really buff up these weaker Cantrip minions and deal a lot of damage. Things like Gnomish Inventor, not too scary, but then if you Dark Iron Dwarf it, it's a 4/4. Things like that. It's a very potent deck. We've seen a lot of it in the past. So as I said, this is more of a budget version, although Sylvanas is basically compulsory in these decks. There aren't that many minions you can play over Sylvanas, it's just that powerful. SI7 is one of the main reasons to play Rogue Cantrip over some of the other cantrips. Like some of the other cantrip decks. Same with Eviscerate, Backstab, Deadly Poison, Perditions. These are very powerful class cards. And that's what really sets apart Rogue Cantrip from all the other cantrip decks. Is the SI7s and the cheap removal spells. Now, this is normally when I'd go onto the EU deck list, however, I don't have any. So, yeah. I'm going to talk a little bit about this weekend's weekly show. Now, for this weekend, I'm going to be doing a Hunter deck. Now, it's going to be a 2-part show. I'm going to spend one of the parts going over the deck in depth, and then the second part, the second part's going to be showcasing the deck a bit with some games and things like that. It's going to be a 2-part show, and the main question I have for you people is, do you want to see a budget deck? Because there are 2 versions to this deck. There's one which takes under 2,000 dust, and there's one which takes over 2,000 dust. Basically, would you guys like to see a deck with legendaries which is at basically full power, or would you like to see a more budget deck that really does help in the current metagame and will beat out some of these mages and really helps against these paladin decks? Paladin decks and rogue decks and things like that. It's very, very good at those kinds of matchups. I can do either a budget deck or a full strength legendary deck. So I'm going to leave that choice up to you guys. If you want to see the budget deck, then let me know. If you want to see one with a legendary in it, so it's actually more powerful, then go ahead and say that in the comment section below. I apologize for missing the last one. I was ill. I've recovered now, though. I am feeling better, so that's good. But anyway, as for now, this has been Jotto. If you like the content, please subscribe. If you have any feedback, or you want to see a specific deck on a weekly show at some point, put it in the comment section below. I am on Teamspeak most of the time, and you can come and say hi over there. I'll put the address in the description. It's managrind.com. On TS3, there is no password. And lastly, I do articles for Hearthbone. Once a week, they come out on Fridays. You can go check out those if you like. I will link the last one in the description. But anyway, as for now, this has been Jotto and the Dwarf with a 54 on his belt, signing off.